how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm great. How are you? How are you drives me insane. It's so overused and so boring. It's a kind of an automatic phrase that we use everywhere when we want to acknowledge people. Why don't we learn better phrases to acknowledge people? So, my dear friends, let's learn some interesting phrases to acknowledge people and know how are they. So in this video, I would be discussing some of the casual, formal and funny ways of asking, how are you? Number one is, how are you doing? The apt reply for this would be, I'm doing well, thanks. Number two, how have you been? This is one of the warm and friendly way to ask, how are you? The answer to this would be, I'm good. Third, now this is an American one which says, what's going on? The answer to this could be, nothing much. Number four would be, what's new? Or, what's new with you? This is more like asking the updates. If somebody knows that there's something happening at your place, they can ask this. Number five, what's up? Traditionally American, but we have started using it a lot. It says, hey, what's up? The sixth one, what are you up to? Now, this is a very friendly and mischievous way of asking what your friend is doing these days or how he or she is. Number seven, how are things going? This is a more generalized way of asking how are you. It could be that you know that the person is up to something new or their personal life, or it can be the work that they are doing, or maybe new project they are planning to start up with. 8. How are you feeling? I'm feeling good. Well, I'm not feeling that great. Now, this implies that you know something about the person, what is happening in their personal life, and you want to talk about their feelings. So, how are you feeling? Number 9. How's everything? A very generalized way of asking how the person is doing. Maybe you can ask this question when you know that something is not that great at their place, or things could have been better, or maybe if they were in a process of doing something better for themselves, you can ask this kind of a question which says, how's everything? Number 10, very general and one of my favorites. How's life? Or how's life treating you? I usually use this when I interact with people whom I know, because in this way I would know how things have been at their place. Alright, let's move on to the formal ways of asking, how are you? First, how do you do? Now this has again become very redundant, but still a lot of people use it in their formal conversations. Ideally, while using this, we do not shake hands. It's just a formal conversation, or it's a kind of an icebreaker that we use to start a formal conversation, which says, how do you do? Second, are you well? Britishers love using this word called well. They would generally ask you questions like, are you well? Is he well? Are they well? Is everything well? So this is again a phrase which is often used for the formal conversations for asking, how are you? Third, how do you fare? Well, I haven't seen anybody using this as much, but yes, just to add in your vocabulary, that's another way of asking. 4. How are things coming along? This is very formal way of asking how are things proceeding in the world. Number 5. How are things coming together? Well, this implies that maybe earlier there were some issues, but now things have been going well, the things are better. So you will probably say things are coming together nicely. Thank you. Alright, now let's talk about some funny ways of asking how are you. Majority of them are English slangs. I would not suggest you to use them in formal conversations or maybe while writing an exam. But yes, definitely when you're around your friends, try using some of these. Number 1 is howdy. Now this is very American and it's a short version of how do you do. Second, how's it hanging? I'm sure while watching English movies, you have come across this phrase which says, how are you? And the last one of my favorite is, what's sizzling? Well, that's another way of saying, what's kicking? Thank you guys. That's all for today's session. I hope you all have learned a lot of new ways of asking how are you. And the next time you meet a person, try using any of these, maybe the formal one, the informal, or the funny way of asking how are you. Stay tuned with me on your channel Hemika Sharma for more interesting videos. Till then, in case you have not subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Bye. Take care.